Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to do a fun but very silly challenge build, all based around this lovely Duplo chicken that I was sent in as part of my brick haul videos. And in that video I mentioned that I should probably use it as a 3D sign on a fried chicken place or something like that. And in the comment section they said, yes, you're challenged to do that and call it NFC for Nottingham Fried Chicken. So that is what I'm going to do today. Right, first of all, a warning for all vegetarians, vegans, and the squeamish that we are going to be taking chickens and turning them into fried chicken on this video. So if that turns your stomach, and not just because it's low quality fast food, then turn off now. I'm not having any complaints from the animal rights mob. Anyway, right, so now we can continue safely. And first of all, I better give a bedoing to the suggestors of this idea, or rather that's me I suppose, but the encouragement then to go ahead and actually do it, because I think it's going to be quite fun. Now, when I started designing this, I thought I might try and make it as small as possible because I didn't want a huge fried chicken place. It's just something sandwiched in between two other builds, no pun intended. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep the floor plan as small as possible, and that means it has to be quite tall to get in all the layers. But that's where the wonderful idea to have the whole process of taking our fried chicken from its source material, yes, chicken, that is where it comes from, all in one site. On all the different levels. So that's what we're going to do today. And I thought that I would also be able to use it in my old town since it'd be very small. But then again, well, we'll have to see at the end. I think I've made it ultra modern looking, so effectively it wouldn't fit in at all. But then again, sometimes you get a real eyesore building in a very beautiful area that's totally out of place. So yeah, maybe it will fit in with my old town after all. We'll have to decide at the end. So I'm challenging myself to keep it to an 8x8 plate here that I can just add to my base plates and sort of tiled pavement right up to and all the rest of it. So that's what we're doing. And just to save time, I've put on the obligatory moppable white and black checked tiled floor. So there we go. And then to the back wall, I'm just going to add some of these cupboards. Just to get us off the ground, really. Maybe that's where all the cutlery and the napkins are kept and stuff like that, and their finger wipes for all the grease. Now, I have actually got an order on a brick called some of the cupboard doors in yellow, because I'm going to have this being very red and very yellow build. And I haven't got them yet. But then again, I don't think they look too bad as kind of cubby holes. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. So, yeah, I didn't think I'd wait for those to complete the build. But there we go. So there's the backdrop. And then the next section I'm going to have is some panels. And then some windows. And I've got these windows with the glass done like that. So they're kind of like hatches. So the server can basically pull one down, reach in and pull out the beautiful golden crispy fried chicken. And I thought, given that we got sort of two there, maybe there's slightly different kinds as well. Maybe we've got I don't know, hot and spicy and regular or something like that. So to fill it up, I'm just going to open both of these windows, and then we're going to get loads of our lovely chicken pieces and throw them in to the two sides of here. And a 4 in there, 2 in there. And that means when I close there, they may leak a little bit out of the sides, but not too much. And we can see that, well, they can't fully escape. That's the main thing. Because this whole build doesn't have sides. Because the idea is that I am, regardless of whether it goes into the old town or not, it's going to be sandwiched between two builds with their side walls. So, you know, duplicating side walls just makes it even bigger. So I'm going to try and use that as much as I can in the old town to get as much crammed in as possible. So all we need to do is a front wall and a back wall, and imagine that the sides are already enclosed by whatever is next door. So yeah, so there is basically our back wall already. Yep. And then on the top, I'm just going to bring it in a bit with some of these lovely little red arches and some yellow bricks, because if it is going in the old town, we are going to see the back wall of this as well. It's going to be visible because these old towns pretty much in the centre of my Lego room, so you're going to be able to see it from absolutely every angle. So it is important the back looks at least reasonably good. And then on the front, we need a kind of server's sort of bar bit for a till and a front wall as well. So that's just going to go there. So he'll need a till. And the guy that I'm going to have in there has got a fork for grabbing those chicken pieces out. Very hygienic, I'm sure, and he's covered in grease. But I thought he looked quite appropriate. So you can go on that stud in there. And then we've got a red window with some air conditioning on the front, because that's going to be vital for two reasons, really. Keeping the grease out of here and also spreading the aroma to the surrounding area. So basically everyone is intoxicated with chicken aromas and has to come in for some as well. And then a lot of these places, especially sort of on holiday, I always think, have this sort of little kind of stand outside. So when you've been served and you've got your hands full, you can pop it down for a second on a little table like that, and then get yourself a napkin out of a napkin dispenser, and maybe add some mayonnaise or something like that all over the top, and then you can get it into sort of munchable configuration, and then set off on your way walking, eating your newly acquired fast food. So that looks pretty good if you ask me. Then continue the front with a door, obviously, and then why not have a door handle made out of a chicken piece? So it looks identical to the actual chicken pieces that people are eating, but this one is a fake one, just as a door handle. But I think that means that when we're on the outside, we're under no illusion as to what you can buy on the inside. So that looks pretty fun. And then I thought I'd use some of my lovely new for me, very old, it's about 20, 30 years ago, sort of yellow and red awning pieces. And that's going to make it absolutely garish as anything. But, you know, I think that's the vibe we're going for, because this, as I say, is going to be very narrow. So it needs to be bright and noticeable. So, yeah, I like that. Very sort of KFC, or NFC, I should call it from now on. And then basically, as I say, this is going to be a tower. So how did we get all this really cooked processed chicken here? Well, it had to come from the floor above, where presumably it was in bigger whole chicken sized pieces. So the next stage up or backwards in the process is kind of a grinder that turns it from whole chickens into chicken pieces. So I've got a kind of gear rack there from Technic, and on the other side I've got some sort of sharp teeth, and together they make a sort of macerator that chops it up very cleverly into different pieces. And then I've got a bricks on the side, studs on the side sort of piece there, so that goes into and on top of the kind of storage device, and sorts it as well. It must season it as well, I suppose. It's all very clever. So this is kind of the Grindomatic, Filetomatic 2000 or something like that. So then I can bring to a close and add a bit of strength to the lower level with some tiles, joining it all together. Just make sure to push it too hard and make it all collapse. There we go. And then it's all that should be left, because you'll be able to separate this when it's in final position and look at all the different levels. But this is the retail level with grinder. Not that kind of grinder. Yeah, so that looks pretty good if you ask me. You know exactly what's going on in there with all those chicken pieces in the backdrop, and the seller with his fork, and all that lovely colouring, and that door handle. And I figure I'll have somebody just walking out of this establishment, tucking right into a newly acquired chicken leg. So there we go. That looks absolutely perfect if you ask me. So yeah, we've got the ability to grind a whole chicken that's been cooked into pieces and get it sold. But yeah, moving on up, what comes before that? Good. Well, obviously before selling and filleting comes, well, cooking, of course. So we'll have that done on the next floor up in this wonderful process of producing our delicious fast food. Delicious, but questionably healthy. And I want to be able to see into every level of this process. So I'm adding kind of windows on the way up. Now, whether this would be a added selling point in real life or not is kind of by the by, because we're going for a bit of a silly build here. But if we're going to have a cooker oven, then essentially we're going to have a thermometer, so we know that it's all happening at a very reasonable temperature. And start off the yellow sidewalls, because we don't know how high the neighbouring buildings are going to be, so this is where I'm going to be bringing in that. And it's not really fried chicken, because technically fried chicken's done fried in oil, yes, but these are going to be flame grilled chicken, and I know that technically sort of ruins the name of NFC, but I kind of like the introduction of flames, and you'll see why in a minute. So I've got some flame coming from that side and from that side, and we'll add a bit more later, but we can angle these to get it all looking just right. And then at the back, I need to add some yellow plates because I need to have a slight cutaway for our play feature. Yes, yes. Play features are very important. But let me continue with the sidewalls. I've got more ventilation there and more flames here. So I'll have a flame very much near the front and then a flame sort of halfway back as well. So this is an absolute furnace in there. Well, quite literally a furnace, yes. Then we can have some grey Technic bricks with a pin on going out the back for more of the equipment. And then I thought I'd have a light brick, you see. This is the play feature. So I've got a regular one here, which doesn't seem that bright. Maybe it's the battery's low. And then this one that's red that seems very bright indeed. And that will go in there. So if we try and sort of imagine that with a lid on, then let's try. Wow, that's a bit of a blitz, isn't it? That might be a bit too bright, a bit too red. That really looks like an inferno or something. Let's try it with the yellow one with a lid on. And yeah, that might be a bit better. What do you think? That's a bit too subtle. Arguably, we need something in between the two. Do you know what? For now, at least, even though it's a bit overkill, I'm going to go for the red one. And if I can, I think I've got some of these little batteries, so maybe I can open that and change them. But while I'm using the red one, I'm just going to put some things on to cover those. And then we can build that in more securely to the structure. So if this is being cooked, but it hasn't yet been cut up, then clearly we need some, yes, whole chickens being cooked in there. So yeah, the size has changed a little bit, hasn't it? But anyway, we'll have to imagine that. I've kind of got a third one, but that might be overkill, so I'll probably leave that out. So that's what is happening in there. So I can tile this off, so it's a kind of very small floor. I mean, there's no humans or minifigures on this floor. Just needs to be, yeah, showing what's going on. Let's try that play feature again. Oh yeah, so you can see the chickens roasting away in there. Flames frying in their own fat and all the rest of it. Lovely jubbly. This is why I warned the vegetarians and the vegans away. They won't like this either. So I've got a little pipe on the front with brown coming out. Maybe it should be brown sort of blowing in the wind actually, because it's meant to be the lovely aroma of cooking chicken, because this is how we attract our customers. Having this lovely chickeny smell going around the neighbourhood will annoy some people but make others absolutely drool, like this guy, and force him to have to buy something. So that's what I thought I'd do on there. And then on the very back, it's already looking a bit sort of ugly with this play feature in a sense, but I thought I'd embrace that and add even more sort of kit. So I've got these two, which must be sort of propane tanks or something for all the flames, and they're fueling that. And then I don't know if this is overkill or not, but I had some because I wanted them for sort of the chimneys of the more sort of sleepy chimney stacks in my old town, some sort of wisps of smoke. So I'm not sure if I like that. We'll decide that later. But yeah, there is the next floor, the cooking floor. So that goes onto there. And you'll see that there's a hole in the floor there, because when they're cooked, it automatically gets shoved into the Fillet-O-Matic device on the floor below. So there you go. It's all part of the process. So we've got serving, we've got filleting, we've got cooking. What comes before that? Well, this is the bit that's the really squeamish bit, the bit that I call choppy choppy. Actually, the more I think of it, I think the red light is a better idea, because when this is in situ, let's say it's in the old town or something, you know, the light's going to be a lot more subtle when it's not at eye level and it's just into the city as normal. So you want it to be quite visible. So I think we do need something that's a bit overkill, if anything. And I think that looks like a really visible play feature. So I'm happy with that now. I'm not going to go with the orange ones, though I might change the batteries for something else. Anyway, right, yeah, so we've got serving, we've got filleting, we've got cooking. So what comes before that? Yes, the nasty one, choppy choppy, as I'm calling it. And that is the floor where we separate the parts of the chicken we do want to serve to the public from the ones we don't. So yes, it's a bit of a messy one, this one, but why not have windows just to view it nonetheless? Celebrate the whole process from farm to plate, as they say. And I figure now, because we're getting a bit taller with this building, it might start to pop up above the height of its neighbours now. So I figure why not have some side windows as well, so even more people can enjoy the full process of NFC and yeah, even its gory section that we're doing right now. Yeah, so on the back there, I've got a bit more wall as well, just to tidy that up. And it's a completely hollow section at the moment, and that's because I want a gutter on 3 sides for collection of all the offal and bits we don't like. So that is what's going on there. And you'll see on a previous floor, I've left a little gap on here so we can have a kind of subterranean, well, not quite subterranean section on the underside of this. So this is the, floor of doom. You can see all of the bits. We got bones, we got blood, we got whatever that is. Oh, look, a heart. All under there. So yeah, it's pretty morbid, but that goes there, creating our sort of gutter around the outside. And presumably that sort of flap descends when we're only left with good wholesome chicken, whole chickens to cook on the floor below, and it descends down the next level. So I'll continue that red stripe and yellow stripe along the back, and that's nice and solid now. And you'll see also that there's a Technic kind of whatever that's called, one of those, and that's going to hold the choppy device. So I thought I'd make this comically sort of choppy with loads of cleavers attached with Technic pins and all the rest of it to this central device. And you can see it's supposed to churn, and it's doing it in such a controlled way. You end up with perfect chickens at the end of it from our feathered friends. So goodness knows how it does that. It must be some sort of technology combined with AI, no doubt, these days. So there we go. So I can push that onto there, and we can see those whirring blades doing their merry work. Well, not so merry, perhaps. Not merry for all. Then we've got another Technic brick here for something on the back. And then we've got here a kind of extraction device, as I see it. I think that's what's sucking up all the feathers, because you don't want feathers in your foods. It's kind of the opposite of a burner, I suppose. And that's compacting them all into this waste disposal tank. And that's what's going to go into there. Just push that in. So we better give it a bit of strength, hadn't we, with some tiles, because that'll be the top of this level, removable, so we can enjoy all the little scenes on the inside, even this one, even the morbid ones. Whoa. Right, there we go. So there is the choppy floor. Yeah, there's no sort of chickens actually on this floor. We don't want to go too far, but you get the idea what happens there, and that goes onto our tower to make it even taller. Cool. Right, so obviously before we serve a chicken or fillet a chicken or cook a chicken or, well, process a chicken from a chicken, we need, chickens. So that must be the floor above. So continuing our journey upwards, we need our chicken containment floor, because, you want your meat to be fresh. So what could be more fresh than having your meat supply on site? So we've got a little sort of hatch here that they can walk over and so on, and that can descend down to get one from one floor to the, choppy. Don't tell them about the choppy. So we still want windows all along the fronts and the sides, so people could admire their future dinner. Yeah, I told you this was going to be a bit bit dark, but, it's all good fun humour when it comes to Lego. It's not real, people. And I can just put the windows on the side as well. I think this will be slightly stronger when it's all pieced together with the other bits. And then as per usual, I'm going to have a wall section on the back. So let me do that in stages as well. And there we can put the hatch on. Not sure that bit's going to be that strong yet, but there we go. But we don't want to send down a chicken that is alive into choppy. That would be absolutely awful. So here we have the Chicken-O-Matic stun gun, which I'm using this sort of alien ray gun for, and that, using AI as well, does some serious humane targeting and dispatch them without them even knowing. And then they go down the hatch to be chopped. But then we better put in some of the gals, innocently pecking away at the food that they're given. Very well treated, of course. And we'll put one right near the window, shall we? So we can see right in. So that is our chicken containment area. Very nice indeed. They don't know what that is. They don't know what's coming. And it's as simple as that, really. So we can start to put on the next roof level of plates. Well, we need to leave another gap here, because how do the chickens get refilled? and that's going to be the topic for our next floor. So I think we can start that actually, because I kind of need to get this holding on to the floor above. So we're going to have a big sign on the front. So I've just put some brackets and built them into a 2x8, so that can go there. And then I've got this to line the hatch with, one of these to give it a bit of strength. I have to be careful at this point. Yeah, that's all right. And then I've got some of these L-shaped kind of plates as well. So where do I want that? Do I want that there? No, there? No. Oh, I think I've mucked this up. Yes, as I meant to do, essentially it is a tile on the front, then our sign attachment, then that bit, then these L-shaped plates. Yes, it all comes back now. So it'll be nice and strong once I've done all of this. This is what threw me, it's this bit. That goes on top of the dark grey. Ah. So now we have a way in to top up our chicken supply if we ever run out. And for that, we need those lovely red pieces that I got on a recent haul. Yeah, it's a chicken hopper. So that looks absolutely great if you ask me. So something equally comedy in my opinion must load this up. Now I don't know if it's a big truck with some sort of crane that lowers them in, or maybe they're dropped in by helicopter, you know, for re-ups on chickens. That could be quite funny to do a chicken re-up helicopter. Or maybe it's kind of a tanker and they kind of get pumped in. I'm thinking something very sort of Despicable Me, sort of Gru type invention that would fill this up. So maybe that's a future build, or maybe we can just imagine that coming into this build. But anyway, yeah, so there is our chicken hopper for reloading. And then I've made a lovely sign. Now this is obviously sign 1 of 2 because we've got our chicken to install. I haven't done that yet. But this one just says the name of NFC. That's what you wanted. It's definitely in brick Nottingham. It's not technically fried, but you get the idea. It's probably, maybe it's air fried or something like that, but with fire. Yeah, you get the idea. And that goes on there, but that looks very bright and colourful. You can kind of see now. Well, I didn't really want this in my old town. I think I'm going to have to change my camera angle. Tell you what, I'm going to do that before I do the final touches and putting on our lovely 3D sign. Ha 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 ha! There we go. We can see all of it in one go now. Wow, that looks really cool. In fact, it might not be too garish for the old town, you know. If we're only seeing that and half of the sides are covered in, it might not be too bad. It's kind of when I was looking at it maybe from that angle or that angle is pretty bright, isn't it? Pretty garish. With all the tanks on the back as well, but that's good fun. And the hopper. Yeah, it's very silly indeed. I do like it very much. It kind of got me smiling when I was building it. Anyway, we haven't finished it yet. Stop admiring it, Robin. Get on with building it. So I've got some brackets here with those curved inverted slopes just to change the direction back to studs on top, and I've got one in yellow as well. Why not keep the yellow and red theme going? And then I can add some of these sort of modified plates with the, well, old tow bar, I suppose. I can't remember what that part really was. It was used in all sorts of different ways, but it's quite useful actually. I've got some in yellow as well for the other side to keep yellow and red going again. And yeah, this is the hardest part actually in the design. And once I figured this out, I was like, right, it's a go. I'm going to design the rest of it. But Duplo is very hard to incorporate with Lego because they use huge studs. And the actual stud doesn't align with any sort of geometry in regular Lego. Now, you could get a Duplo piece and to fit into the feet and then join those up with 2x2 bricks. But by the time I've done all that, it'd probably be way up here and it'd look even more clunky and ugly if you ask me, with a Duplo brick and then a Lego system brick. It'd be right up on stilts. So I thought I'd try and do a better idea. And I tried and played with absolutely every piece I could imagine, and none of them were very good. And other times I've just done it with brackets and stuff, like for like when I mounted my Duplo fish for my fish and chips restaurant. But it turned out that these parts were quite a good fit. And these are the kind of pistons or cylinder heads from one of those engine blocks. I had a few of those sent in from another brick call, so thanks for that. But I did want to get, on top of the yellow one that was sent in, a red one, which must be made out of a different plastic because it's kind of gone a bit of a funny red. But anyway, we'll deal with it. And those are mounted on these Technic pins with a ball joint. So they can go into that piece there, he says, trying to fit it in. There we go, like that. That can go into the yellow one, like that. And then we should have our chicken mounting device for, you see, I have to really push him on, don't I? Our Duplo chicken, who actually, when it's all pushed down, is pleasantly leaning forward just a little bit, like he's looking at you coming in to eat his delicious products. And I think that looks really quite fun. So that, I thought, well, once I've done that, I have to go ahead with NFC, don't I? Even if you don't like the rest of the build, we've now got a huge 3D chicken in the city. Looks pretty good if you ask me, with the chicken refill hopper right behind him. Yeah, that looks very good indeed. So that was the challenge. And challenge accepted, challenge met, if you ask me. So to recap, we need some sort of helicopter or tanker with pump device that will reach up to here. Need some sort of long arm, wouldn't it, to refill the chicken hopper, which then populates our lovely chicken coop level on there with all the gals waiting until they get zapped by the Zappatron 3000 before they enter the choppy floor. We'll say no more about that, but the floor says it all, really, doesn't it? And then underneath that, we've got the play feature of the red hot cooking floor oven with our temperature gauge and a lovely aroma coming out the front, as well as sort of fumes out the back as well. I'm not sure about that still. You'll have to tell me what you think about these two pieces. I might just get rid of those because these are just propane in tanks, really, aren't they? That's the air out. Anyway, and then we've got the awning with the mayonnaise and the serviettes on the outside and the lovely door handle being another chicken piece. And then we've got our two hatches of the different types of seasoning with our lovely chef, who is a bit soiled from all of the grease and that lovely black and white floor and his fork in his hand and all the rest of it. And our paying customer, who looks very happy indeed with what he's about to enjoy. So that, oh yeah, and we didn't mention, that's a good reminder, thanks Gravity. There is the Fillet-O-Matic device that is turning our cooked whole chicken into those lovely pieces. So that is a very good modular with play feature build. All the way from the bottom to the top, a kind of reverse process. Going down with Gravity, using all of the different processes to take us from raw material to finished product. And I think that is really good fun. But as ever, I need your opinion and your improvements. And you can see if you can earn yourself a nice shiny bedoing, just like the suggesters of this wonderful idea did. I can't wait to get the old town going so I can get this in position and see if it clashes a bit too much or not. What do you think? Well, as you know, I like getting a bit of silliness into my city, and I like getting a load of different ranges, and Duplo is just one of the ones that I've used a few times to add a bit of diversity to my city, doing things that you won't see anywhere else. And I think that this build is a great example of that. It's pretty bright, it's pretty colourful, arguably a bit too much, but it's nice and fun. It definitely draws the eye. And if it draws the eye and the finger to use the play feature, then that is what my city is all about. But I think it could go in the old city, old town. Imagine its neighbours are up to about here, so it'll block in that ground floor very snugly. And, say we had a peaked roof sort of concealing that much, so there's only a little bit of sides poking out along the top. I don't think it'd be too bad. So, I think I'll definitely put it in that heap of stuff in the Lego room for incorporation later. But that is pretty good, isn't it? Love him on top. He's got a great expression. I can't quite work out what it is. It's not happy. It's kind of, I don't know, determined. So, but we've got lots of good, interesting scenes. It's definitely going to make you lean in and say, what is that? Oh my goodness, is that what I think it is? Yes, it is. Wow. There. And the ground floor is really good. Maybe we should have a little cart somewhere else in the city selling the products. Maybe they come back for a topping up in here and go out and sell it at the fairground or something like that as well. We'd have to have the same branding. Maybe we just have a small regular sized chicken as its 3D sign. But Yeah, very good. So thanks very much again for that wonderful suggestion. I like getting your ideas because it sort of gets my creative juices going in a different direction and I end up creating something silly like this, which is got to be great for everyone. So yeah, thanks again for that. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome Lego builds like this. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. Your support is greatly appreciated. Wednesday, we're going to be doing a brick haul. I've got a few packages from subscribers, so if you want to send something into the channel, you can. I'll be keeping it open at least till Christmas, I think, now. And then back to this channel where I'm doing a lot of room moving at the moment. So there's a lot going on in a city. Not so much building, but yeah, a lot of, well, progress. So that's really good, actually. And I needed a bit of a boot up the behind. So yeah, Mrs. Hood gave me that to get out of the old Lego room fully as soon as possible. So I'm going to be progressing with that to a degree. So we'll see what we get up to, but we'll do that next Monday. And yeah, wow, very happy with this. But yeah, give me your comments in the section below for either the next challenge or what you think of this one. So until next time, see you! Right, vegetarians, you can look back now. Well, not quite yet. I haven't finished.